You're not going to play the music? Oh, there you go.
Is this it? Yes.
In the dark of the night, whispers of deceit,
Shadows dance on the walls,
secrets they repeat. A shadowed figure
with eyes full of light.
hiding truths in the shadows where no one dares to pry. Uncover the truth, let the lies come undone. Peel back the layers until the light is shown. Uncover the truth, let the shadows run. Break free from the chains and find the sun. Uncover the truth in the dead of the night, where secrets lie hidden like a whispered bite. Uncover the truth in the dim of the light, where betrayals take root in the heart of the fight. In the rain-soaked streets, under the moon's pale light, a crime unfolds.
All right. Bloodlines and Betrayal. I was very surprised out of the choices I gave that you chose Roberto Clemente.
Oh, wow.
What was, I threw it out there. I wasn't expecting it. I didn't know you were a baseball guy or a fan of his or the situation.
Both. So.
Oh, you were? Okay.
I did as a kid, I did a book report on Roberto Clemente.
Oh, you did? Okay.
But I don't, those are, you remember those books. They're like basic, they were like for kids, you know what I mean? So I knew the basics of Roberto Clemente, that he was a great baseball player and all that stuff. It came over from, what is he? Is he a DR guy? Or is he? Was he from DR or Puerto Rico or?
He's from the Dominican, I believe, or Puerto Rico. I'm sorry, Puerto Rico. Okay. He was born, but he did a lot of charity work, especially over there. Okay. And he got to 3,000 hits. He played 18 years in the major leagues. And he was an all-star for 13 seasons, selected for 15 all-star games. And he was the National League MVP in 1966, the batting leader in 61, 64, 65, 67, Gold Glove winner for 12 consecutive seasons, 1961 through 1972.
He was like he was in that same mode of like Mickey Mantle and Willie Mays.
Like I didn't know.
Runs, both, fielder, everything. Like a full package guy. Athlete and a half.
Yeah, I didn't know he was that popular or that good. And then he also, in the off season, he would play winter ball in Puerto Rico.
Oh.
And he did a ton of charity work in Latin America and the Caribbean countries. And that was the reason he died in the plane crash in 1972. He was going to Nicaragua to deliver aid to victims of the earthquake. It's just unbelievable how it all happened. But everyone in, Hispanic countries, Puerto Rico, the Dominican, their way out is baseball. They start playing from the time they're 4 years old. And a lot of them, even nowadays, they get taken advantage of by agents and whatnot. They don't get the money that they're deserved, and they just get played. He played Puerto Rican baseball from the time he was 18 years old. He played 2 years, and then he was initially signed from he was signed from the Puerto Rican League by the Brooklyn Dodgers. And they offered him a contract of $15,000 with a $10,000 bonus, and he got a $5,000 minimum salary, and that's where he signed. And his first year was in 1954.
Wow, he was 1954. My goodness. I didn't realize he played that long.
So the major league had a rule that stipulated when a team signed a player to a contract with a signing bonus in excess of $4,000, equivalent to $56,000 today, the team was required to keep that player on their 25-man active roster for 2 full seasons. And failure to comply with the rule would result in the team losing rights to the player's contract. So Clemente's bonus was $5,000. It was over $4,000. But the Dodgers didn't keep him on the active roster for 2 years. And they placed him in the International League with the Montreal Royals. It's a AAA affiliate.
Right.
So that's what initially caused the problem. And one of the other things that was huge for him was he didn't speak English very well. So there was a huge language disconnect. There were only a couple people who he could speak to. He received assistance from bilingual teammates, such as infielder Chico Fernandez and pitchers Tommy Lasorda and Joe Black.
Oh.
So I thought that was crazy. Like he didn't. I mean, I thought being from Puerto Rico, you would speak English. I didn't know it was, it would be mostly Spanish. So it was Joe Black who was the original target for the Pirates. And they went on a scouting trip to Richmond, and they noticed Clemente in batting practice. And there was a Pirate scout that made inquiries and soon learned that Clemente was unprotected. They called it a bonus baby because he was paid $5,000 instead of the $4,000. So 12 years later, the manager said, they tried to sneak him through the draft, but it didn't work. And, they wanted to not play Clemente, stating that he needed time to develop and was struggling against AAA pitching. But Pittsburgh completely acknowledged and noticed his talent immediately. And they drafted him first once he was unprotected. And they told the Montreal manager to take good care of him, make sure that he didn't get hurt. So he played 87 games in Montreal. He only hit .257. 2 home runs And the first home run of his North American baseball career, it was an extra inning walk-off home run. And he entered the game as a defensive replacement. His only other minor league home run came on September 5th, his 20th birthday. So he wasn't like a hit early on. He came in, he got all this money. He was supposed to be on the 25-man roster. Brooklyn declined to honor that, and he ended up going back into the draft, and the Pirates saw something in him and drafted him. So his official major league career began in 1955. Played from 1955 to 1972. Do you know what number Clemente wore?
No.
So
What number did he wear?
for the first 7 weeks of his major league career, he wore the number 21. It was chosen because his full name, Roberto Clemente Walker, had that many letters. So for his first few weeks, he wore the number 13 as his teammate Earl Smith was wearing 21, and then it was later reassigned to Clemente. And then I thought it was amazing that basically, I mean, there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 different off seasons he played professionally in different Hispanic leagues in Puerto Rico, or different leagues in Puerto Rico, because he was considered a star there. He was the hometown guy, and he came home and he played in the off season. And I was just thinking about that today, how rare that would be. Like, I know that WNBA players do it. They play in the off season, but baseball players, for the large part, can you imagine the season is 162 games, and then you're going to go and play all winter?
Yeah, that's amazing, actually, because they don't start when does spring ball start in they start in like February, right, in Florida? Maybe
Pitchers and catchers report in February. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and how about this? I didn't even know this. In 1958, Clemente joined the United States Marine Corps Reserve.
He's a great guy. Jeez.
It's just amazing reading about him. What incredible person he was. He served as a 6-month active duty in Parris Island, South Carolina, Camp Lejeune in North Carolina, and in Washington, D.C. He received recruit training with Platoon 346 of the 3rd Recruit Battalion. The rigorous Marine Corps training programs helped Clemente physically. He added strength. He gained 10 pounds. He said his back troubles, which were caused by being in an auto accident, disappeared as a result of his training. And he was a private first class in the Marine Corps Reserve until September 1964. So, he joined in 58. And he was there until 64. The other thing, he faced a tremendous amount of racism.
Yeah.
And do you know where it came from the most?
Like what location or what type of people?
What type of people?
White people?
Journalists.
Oh.
Journalists.
You set me up on that one.
I'm shocked by it.
Yeah.
Journalists who are supposed to be neutral and just report the news.
That is crazy.
Were racists, and one of his teammates, Bill Mazurowski, wrote that some sports writers tried to make him look like an ass by getting him to say controversial things. And then they wrote how the Puerto Rican hot dog was popping off again, end quote. And the problem was mainly because the language barrier, because he didn't know English as well. So he didn't know a lot of the questions they were asking him, what they were trying to accomplish with the questions they were asking him. And once he started to learn the language better, he became very, very distrustful of the media, created a huge divide, and writers who couldn't speak 3 words of Spanish tried to make him look silly. But he's an intelligent man who knows people and knows the game. And Clemente's disagreements with the media were worsened by his open expression of anger at the continued discrimination in baseball, which I didn't know. He was very outspoken. Did you know him as being outspoken during his career?
No, I knew him as being charitable. I did not know that.
Very outspoken, very hot-tempered. So I had no idea of that either. And let's face it, Pittsburgh was not one of the top teams, one of the upper echelon franchises.
Back then they weren't good, yeah.
And they weren't. They still are. I mean, they're traditionally a small market team. They don't spend a ton of money.
Right.
So he was frustrated by, how the team was performing. He was frustrated by the racial and ethnic tensions. He was constantly snipping with the local media and even some teammates. And he had a famous quote. He responded saying, "I don't believe in color. I don't believe in color." He said that during his upbringing, he was taught never to discriminate against someone based on ethnicity. So he was really at a double disadvantage. He was a Latin American player and a Caribbean player. His first language was Spanish. Now, I didn't even know this. Did you know that he was also of African descent?
From Africa?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, I know darker skin.
Yeah. He was technically a black Puerto Rican.
Got it. Okay.
So that gave him license to players, the media, to attack him even further. His native tongue is foreign to America, and so is his color, said certain reporters. And the year before, the Pirates hired their Kurt Roberts, their first African-American player. They were the 5th team in the National League and the 9th in the majors to do so. Now, this is 7 years after Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier by joining the Dodgers. So you would think by this time there would be more players of color and it would be somewhat accepted and they would be treated a little bit better. And that really wasn't the case. And, you know, even during his rookie season, he got into a car accident. A drunk driver rammed into him in an intersection, and he finished his rookie season with a disappointing .255 batting average. But his defensive skills were always on point. And then he became a star really in the 1960 season. He batted .353 and he had 25 RBIs recorded in the month of May alone. His batting average would remain above 300 throughout the campaign. But he always played the game like his hair was on fire. Whether it was in the field chasing after fly balls, whether it was going after an extra base hit, stealing bases. And many sports writers started to come around. Even like a writer for another team. If you can imagine this, the writer for the Giants said Clemente was one of the greatest of all time, as well as one of the most frightening to watch. And he made some painful plays. So he only played in one World Series. I didn't know if you knew that.
What World Series did he play? What Pittsburgh with the Pittsburgh Pirates?
Mm-hmm.
What was the World Series they played in?
They played and they won the NL pennant, and they defeated the New York Yankees in a 7-game World Series, which to me is unbelievable. He batted .310 in the series. His .314 batting average, 16 home runs, and defensive playing during the course of the season earned him a spot on the NFL, the National League All-Star roster. And he replaced Hank Aaron in right field during the 7th and 8th innings of the second All-Star game held that season. From 1959 to 1962, they would have 2 All-Star games, which I found also crazy. I can't believe that. And then, so this guy is becoming a star. He's dominating. He tries to modify his batting technique by using a heavier bat to slow the speed of his swing. So it paid off for him. He became, again, a 2-time All-Star. He was 2 for 4. He hit a triple in the All-Star game. And
he was MVP, wasn't he, too?
He won I don't know if it doesn't say if he was the MVP, but the game went into extra innings, and he helped engineer a come from behind 5-4 and National League victory. And he had the walk-off single off a knuckleball pitcher and that won the game for him. So he's doing all this. He's having a great career, but he's really like I didn't know how philanthropic he was. He really tried to give back to Puerto Rico. He tried to give back to, like I said, the Caribbean islands. I'm sorry. They did win. They did win another. They did appear in another World Series. They played against the Orioles, and Pittsburgh did win the championship. So Clemente did win. Wow, I didn't know that. So he helped the Pirates win 2 World Series, and he batted .414 during this series. And he hit a solo home run in the deciding 2-1 7th game victory. Game 7, he hit a solo home run, put him up 2-1, and this is when he was awarded the World Series Most Valuable Player award. He was frustrated. He struggled with injuries. He only played in 102 games the following season in 1972. He hit .312. He made the All-Star roster for the 15th time in a row, and he won his 12th Gold Glove. It's just amazing, the longevity. Like, you don't see this anymore.
How did he get, like, what was him when he grew up? What was part of, like, how did were you able to look that up? Like, how did he grow up?
He grew up in Puerto Rico. He grew up in a poor family, and yeah, I mean,
how did he develop his skills? Did he always play baseball?
Yeah, he played baseball all the way up. He was born in Carolina, Puerto Rico. He was actually your sport, a track and field star. And he was actually an Olympic hopeful before he turned to baseball. Yeah. Yeah. He competed.
He's unbelievable.
He competed in track all the way through. But he did play baseball as well. He was an amazing athlete overall.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think he saw, what are my best options for having a career, making money, getting out of Puerto Rico, and giving back. And I think he came to the conclusion it was baseball. And he had played baseball, but his professional career began really at the stark age of 18. He was down there playing right off the bat. And when you look at his statistics overall, back then they didn't hit home runs like they do today. He had 240 overall home runs. His batting average was .317 for a career. That's very impressive. He made the illustrious 3,000 hit club. That's the magic number that everyone wants. That's, the if you get the 3,000 hits, you're special.
Right.
15-time All-Star, 2-time World Series champion, National League MVP, World Series MVP, 12-time Gold Glove Award winner, and he was the 4-time National League batting champion. So tragically, his life was cut short at the age of 38. 38. So I'll give you a rundown on the crash that happened. He was frustrated because there was aid being sent to Nicaragua, and there had been an earthquake there, and it killed 5,000 people. And
that's why he
many
went down.
Countries sent aid there. Clemente contributed to the relief effort with his own money, and he supervised the delivery of these goods because this is even crazier. There had been 3 cargo planes that had sent ships to help the Nicaraguans, and reports from the military, reports came that the military seized the goods intended for the earthquake victims. Can you believe that?
These things that happen are so crazy. With like
the military of its own country,
stealing
was seizing the goods that were for the victims.
Great, absolutely crazy.
And Clemente himself had sent cargo planes, and once he found out, again, they were seized by the military. He's a hothead. He got pissed off. He's like, I'm going on this trip. He chartered. He had sent three planes. He chartered a 4th so he could visit Nicaragua, and he directly went to confront the military leader, believing, I'm a celebrity, I can't be harmed. So the aircraft was a Douglas DC 7CF, a freighter. It was converted to carry cargo, registered in the United States, but this was not like a solid plane. There had been a previous accident that happened, I believe, a few weeks before, where maintenance did a check and they suggested that they replace the engine, and the engine never was replaced. So Clemente, he didn't know this. The accident happened. There were 5 people on board, including Clemente. The airplane crashed immediately after takeoff. It basically flew straight into the ocean. Jesus. And it was from Puerto Rico. Clemente, he and a relief committee leased the aircraft for $4,000 from a local airline. It was American Air Express leasing company. Unknown to Clemente, like I said, it suffered the non-fatal accident 29 days before the flight took place. It damaged the propeller blades in the engine. And like I said, they were advised to replace one of the engines, and the owner of the plane was a Puerto Rican named Arthur Rivera. Rivera told his mechanics, do what they could, inspect the engine, keep it in service. But after the mechanics inspected the engine, they could not find a reason to justify replacing one. The standard procedure after a sudden stop of a piston engine is to disassemble the engine and, look for cracks. None of this was done. And an FAA maintenance inspector looked at the propeller shaft limits and the sudden stoppage repairs, found them within tolerances. However, when he was questioned in a later report, he said, I just kind of witnessed the inspection. I wasn't part of it. So in the post-war area, cargo carriers operated surplus piston-driven prop planes, was at its end, as high maintenance costs restricted the ability to keep up with the newer aircraft technology.
Right.
So this Rivera guy just regained his FAA clearance to operate cargo planes, claiming that it was his livelihood. This guy, he just wanted to do good. He just wanted to provide cargo and transport to countries to help them. So volunteers spent most of the afternoon loading the aircraft. Pilot Jerry Hill boarded the plane. Owner that Rivera was in the co-pilot seat, only he was not certified to fly this twin engine. And Hill was a well-qualified seasoned pilot who was in command. He had been found by chance several days earlier while watching the plane being loaded. And this was the aircraft's first flight since Rivera purchased it several months earlier. And it was the first time that the pilot had flown with with Rivera. And Clemente boarded with one of his associates around the same time. Now, the issue after takeoff, once they did an investigation, was the weight of the airplane. The weight was way too much. It was 3% over the allotted weight for maximum takeoff. The crew submitted a flight plan with a cargo weight that was under the maximum, which was not accurate. And that is why all of this basically happened. And they only had a one-way fuel load. The pilot was going to have to divert to somewhere like San Jose, Costa Rica, or Panama City to refuel and get to Nicaragua. So it wasn't like the easiest flight. And they blamed commercial airlines for the calculation of the weight and allowing this plane to take off being overweight. And the investigation found that they pushed and pushed and pushed the aircraft weight as much as they could. They just packed as much on there. And there was really a small chance that they were going to be able to get to Nicaragua at all. Which is sad, because it's like they never had a chance. They never had a chance to get there. Like immediately after it took off, it just went down. It went down. So, you know, it was reported, and they immediately did a search. They found the body of the pilot, I believe. Clemente's body was never found after this. And that was really disturbing. So the contributing factors, the engine failure, obviously, overloading, it was more weight. It also had an inadequate crew. The pilot was unqualified because he did not have a co-pilot. And there was an absence of a flight engineer, basically meaning they were flying blind. And there was very, very poor maintenance because the aircraft overall was in average to poor condition. And there were financial pressures that influenced Rivera's decision-making after the FAA revoked his commercial pilot certificate. He just regained it. He received clearance to operate a cargo plane. He needed the money. And Clemente paid him $4,000 to use the plane.
Wow.
And then that's also why he didn't hire adequate staffing. So you imagine getting on a plane. There's like two people. There's a pilot. There's no co-pilot. Anything like that.
That's crazy.
And you're on this massive cargo plane. The crash basically resulted in the death of all 5 people on board. And it was just tragic because he did so much for the community in Puerto Rico, and he did so much for all the different Caribbean countries, trying to help them, you know, giving his money away, going over there, visiting them, helping them play baseball, playing baseball in these freaking, you know, these leagues and all these Hispanic leagues during the winter. And one of the saddest things that I read was one of his teammates. I can't remember. Okay, so this is one of the sad things. Montreal Expos pitcher Tom Walker was playing with Clemente, Winter League ball in Puerto Rico. Helped him load the plane because Clemente wanted Walker, who was single, to go and enjoy New Year's Eve. Clemente told him not to come on the flight. And then a few hours later, Walker returned to his condo and discovered the plane carrying Clemente had crashed.
That's crazy. Sad. They must have had a big outpouring for him in Puerto Rico.
They did.
He died.
They did. His goal was, you know, he was working on building kind of like a sports center for the disadvantaged youth in Puerto Rico. It had started in 1967. And he basically said, when I'm ready to quit baseball, I will have my sports center. To me, it will be the most important thing in the world. the center was so important that shortly before he recorded his 3,000th hit, he told his manager the most important moment of his life would not be that hit, but would be the creation of the center. And after his death, the project stalled. Vera Clemente, his widow, attained corporate assistance for the center in the late 80s. And now, to this day, many Puerto Rican players have trained at the center. But, okay, this is the saddest thing I read. The saddest thing I read was this. There was one teammate, close friend, Manny Senguelen. He was the only member of the Pirates who did not attend Roberto's memorial service. Instead, the Pirates catcher chose to dive into the waters where the plane had crashed to find his teammate. Is that unbelievable?
I want to. Wow. Oh my God.
He didn't want to let his teammate go, so he personally went to the ocean and was diving down trying to find him. So
Roberto
it's just sad.
Clemente did a lot for a lot of people, and he probably is the biggest groundbreaker for the Caribbean players, of all time. He's the Jackie Robinson, of Latino players. But even more importantly than from a Latino standpoint, he was also really. What you see now in the Caribbean where the players come from, like he was because those guys are Latino, but they're also in the Caribbean. It's like a dynamic where they don't have the same resources, and that's why what basically he did opened the door for the players that you see now. Like how much of the MLB is Dominican.
Pedro Martinez, David Ortiz. I mean,
let's see, Dominican players make up 10 to 13% of all players in the major leagues, and how many in Dominican and Puerto Rican, right? So I don't know if Puerto Rico has very good baseball players, but I don't know if there's a level of Dominican.
No.
Yeah, no. So they're about 2% of, but it's between the two of them. There's about around 150 players.
But I mean, he worked really with all countries. He worked with all people. He struggled with a language barrier here.
Right.
That, made him distrust reporters and teammates. But the way that he performed for 18 years, that's unheard of. I mean, nowadays, with the way that they have load management and how guys play, they don't play that much. 3,000 hits. It's going to be rare to see somebody have
the hits. Yeah.
Again. But it's just a tragic story just because he was a really, really good guy.
5 times more likely to make the major leagues if you're from the Dominican than if you're from America. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's where they were they scout heavily from,
Yeah.
and they can get them cheap. They get them young, they get them cheap because they're not looking to go to college. They're looking to play right away. So it's really, really a tragic tale of what happened, and it's upsetting just because it was totally preventable. It was totally preventable. All it was the weight of the plane, the propeller, and the engine, all of which could have been managed. And they chose to just let it go.
Yeah.
Because the guy wanted to make a few bucks.
Mind blowing.
And we lost the legend because of it.
We lost the legend because of it.
I mean, the only other one that comes to mind is Thurman Munson.
Thurman Munson was a similar playing situation. Yeah.
And that was during the season. And I remember the Yankees lined up with 8 players because he was the catcher. But yeah, that was awful. So
that's crazy, dude. It's crazy.
It is crazy. It's crazy how it happened. It's just crazy that a guy who gave back so much, who was just trying to do good, and had those cargo ships not been taken by the Nicaraguan government, he wouldn't have gone over there himself. This man was going over there himself to confront Nicaraguan military leaders. Like, why the hell are you taking my cargo? Why are you taking aid to these victims? That's why he was going over there.
Nicaragua ended up becoming a big counter-revolutionary deal there. That's the whole 1980s. That was the big. If you remember Ronald Reagan, actually you were a kid probably. That was the whole Nicaraguan Contra, that whole thing that became a big mess during the Reagan era. The Contra, remember they had the hearings with what was his name? Oliver North, and North is still around. Oh
yeah, I remember Ollie North.
Did he die? He would probably be old by now. But I don't know if he was alive still or not. Ollie North. But yeah, that's a crazy story. I mean, he was literally a hero. He cared about helping people back home, not just his own objectives.
Yeah, he tried to give back.
He tried as much he could to give back. And
it's just tragic and it's sad.
It is tragic. Did you know any of this before you looked it up?
No.
Oh, really? Okay.
I
knew the story, but I didn't. Basically how you told it was really good. I really didn't really know I knew the plane, and I didn't know the in-depth.
I didn't know how great of a player he was.
He was unbelievable.
I didn't know that. I didn't know he had 3,000 hits. I didn't know he played 18 years, 15-time All-Star, any of that stuff.
Right.
I don't believe the Pirates won a World Series since he played.
Man.
So, are you guys doing anything tonight? Are you watching a playoff game or?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I don't know. How about you?
Yeah. Are you Do you have basketball?
Tomorrow, bunch of games, but I don't think anything tonight.
Oh, you
So,
have games tomorrow.
oh yeah, a bunch of games, and then we have our Billboard Beach trial, which was canceled because last week it was postponed because last week it was a snowstorm here. I don't know if you had a snowstorm or
Yeah.
not. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, I mean, other than that,
For
what else is going on?
for 7-on-7.
Yeah.
Flag.
Now I set up the other stuff. It's already on. You want me to send you the link?
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
You want to be the director of this?
What,
Or are you still going to carry your disdain for me for the rest of this year?
what is it?
You know we love you, Steve Cully. You don't understand that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you know sometimes, you know, the world can be what's the word? A learning experience for us all. I thought that was an interesting post you had too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had a nice comment from somebody. That was very nice.
It was very nice.
It happens to all of us.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, you should see. I'm gonna try and do it. You know what I mean? I don't know if there's. I don't know the level of. What's the word I'm looking for? Like people involved. You know what I'm saying, from stuff like this. You know, but I want to try and build it. I want to try because it's probably the most important thing for linemen. You know.
You're talking the 5v5?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I put the tournaments because I'm gonna put them with my 7-on-7 tournaments and just add.
That's how it should be done.
Yeah, and I think that makes it easier versus having a separate event. That might be the issue that they run into a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then what? But once I do it, I think other people around the country probably already do it that way. But I'm sure maybe more events around here will do it that once that happens. You know. And then the next thing is getting teams.
What are the age groups?
I was gonna do U12, U14, U15, U18.
Yeah.
Which is basically high school, freshman,
Yeah.
eighth
That's
grade,
about right.
6th grade or something. You know what I mean? So I didn't want to go too young. It's not like 7 on 7.
You don't want to go too young.
7 you don't get banged around that much. I didn't want someone to get banged around. You know what I mean?
No, you don't want anyone to get hurt.
To get hurt, right? So that was kind of the way I thought about it, but I don't know. You know what I mean? But we'll see. I mean, I'm going to try. Like, listen, it doesn't. That's the good thing about the fact that I already have existing events, is that putting it there. If nobody decides to do it, no big deal.
Yeah, it's just a bonus.
It's a bonus. It gives them an opportunity. But I am going to reach out to different groups. I think that it could happen. Maybe even high school teams might be interested in sending their kids. They don't have to coach them, you know?
No. You just need 10 guys.
Yeah, exactly. So
10 guys in a pop-up bag.
Theoretically, you really need 5 if you think about it. Like in a high school group of kids, if they wanted to go both ways, you could actually do that.
They do. Yeah, they usually do go both ways.
Right. So you could actually get away with if you had 5. I mean, you don't want to do that probably, right, but you could get away with it. And that makes the only reason I was saying that I was putting it in there that you only need 5 because for teams that kids might play other sports, you have a better chance of getting a team together, right? So they can at least compete. So
what's the date on it?
I have 6 dates listed. I could send you. I'll send you what I sent to him. I sent it to him. I think he might have been like overwhelmed that I just put it all out there already. But I haven't.
Are they in the summer?
No. Spring.
Okay, they're in the spring.
So let me see. Can probably put together a team. It might be hard to have an event up by you because you may not have as many teams available to you, but you could get a team.
No, we would bring
a team.
We would bring a team there.
Yeah, I mean, really, the truth is, you guys don't need an indoor facility. All you need is a gym to train.
No, I know.
Like obviously, an indoor facility. If someone falls to the ground, it's probably better. But you could just tell them to stay up. Nobody goes to the ground. You know what I mean? And they could do the work they need, right?
And
oh wow.
Okay, so you haven't talked to Julia.
Read it. Listen to this. Look at this. Look at this. Oh wow.
Yeah, they aren't.
Is this the fans you mean that are Christy and the fans that are about belling or?
Yeah, because
explain.
There's a mass exodus of guys who are not playing.
So people bought tickets feeling they got fraudulent duped, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
And that Store Central and UConn were in cahoots on this?
Of course. Store Central never reports anything accurate or negative for UConn.
Right.
So,
but yet they have a fan base in the boneyard that relies on their information to make a good game, right?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's not good.
We had a huge group ready to go right after the bowl was announced.
Yeah.
And then, Joe Figiano backed out and, talking with his father again, they just, and I spoke to Joe Linta.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know Joe. Joe said that.
You called him?
Yeah. Yeah, so did Burton. And, he told both of us he advised Joe to play in the ball game. Joe did not play because he's concerned about his health. And I defended him. I said, his 2 starting tackles are out. His backup's out. He doesn't have Skylar Bell. And if you look at the discrepancy between catches, Skylar had 100. Romello Murphy had 30. That was the next closest. Lewis Hansen would snap the ball to himself and play against Army by himself. He doesn't give a shit. But there's so many guys that are in the transfer portal. Yeah, they have surpassed ticket sales for last year. They surpassed ticket sales early on. I heard from Mike that tickets were going like crazy as soon as the game was announced. Ticket sales are surpassed. But But yeah, there's like Brian Parham. Parham's not playing. Omar Diamande's not playing. Mel Brown's not playing. I don't believe Shamar Porter's playing. I think Romello Murphy and Chris Parker will be the receivers. We do have a quarterback. We have a very good quarterback. Kassan Farrar is an amazing quarterback. He'll do fine. And Gordon will come up with different ways to get him the ball. I'm not worried about offensively. I think we can handle them and score points. And none of this has been announced. Chris, why do you think it's going to be announced? What makes you think they're going to announce it? They want people to go to the game. They need to make money. They're not going to announce any of it. They're not going to announce that they did a shitty job. They're not going to announce that the kids had no loyalty to the program. And the reason they have no loyalty is because it's a business. And you know, everyone is frustrated. Is it unethical? Not really. It's a business. Is business ethical? No. It's not unethical. It's not unethical. The fans are stupid. That's what I would say. The fans are stupid. The fans are fucking morons. Because every day there's a new announcement. This person's going into the portal. This person's opting out. This person's doing that. Who the fuck do you think is playing? Who do you think is playing? The fans are idiots. Who do you think your quarterback is? It's not Joe. Who do you think your quarterback is? Who do you think your running back is? Who do you think your defensive backs are? You think Cam Chadwick's playing? No. You think Pringle's playing? No. Donovan Branch? No. Vincent Carroll Jackson? No. That's not unethical. That's stupidity. That's pure stupidity by the fans.
Oh, it's another rant.
No, it is. It's pure stupidity by the fans. You want this announced? Yes. So-and-so's not playing. So-and-so's not playing. So-and-so's not playing. They're not playing. They're not playing. They're not playing. You want them to announce all 50 people that aren't playing? Chris, this is what the fuck happens when a coach leaves. The players don't want to play. Benedict thought having a chance to win 10 games would mean something to them. And for the guys who have been there 4 years, sure, it would have. Not this group. Ty King, you think he gives a fuck? Brian Parham, the sack leader, you think he gives a fuck? No. They don't care. It's not unethical. It's not unethical. I would say the fans are morons. The fans are stupid. That's what I would say. Because every day it's announced. So-and-so's opting out. So-and-so's opting out. So-and-so's opting out. What's unethical about that? What's unethical? Please. I would love to know what you think is unethical.
Do you want me to save you right now, or do you want to keep
No.
going? Well,
the fans are stupid, Chris.
Do you want to
do a great business model call fans stupid? They are stupid.
Hold on. Christy, I have an idea. Do you want to
Who do you want to announce it? Who do you want to announce it?
Steve. So hold on. So I wanted to say to you, do you want to flip over?
Me?
Do you want to flip over and do an emergency Husky huddle? And then
I got another podcast.
This would be good for you to talk about a little bit.
I got another podcast at 2. I'll be done with him shortly if you want after. But
talk about it here for a few more minutes before you go. Who do you have it to?
Chris, I don't know anything.
Who do you have it to?
I don't know anything specific.
Who are you doing it to?
I know what I read on social media. I know what I read on UConnHuskies.com. I know who's opting out. You can see it. It's nothing fucking magical. You know who's opting out. It's not my job. I don't work for the university. You want me to announce it? You want me to announce it? I don't work for the school. And yeah, a great business model to call the fans stupid. I do think the fans are stupid. The fans were stupid for day one when Mora left to think that we were going to have a team playing in this bowl game that was remotely close to the team that played against FAU. So yes, the fans are morons. The fans are fucking morons. And reading the posts on social media for what they were saying, like, are you serious? Are you that dumb? We have a new coach. Moore's gone. Moore's taking our recruits. Moore's taking players in the transfer portal. Yeah, I agree. They shouldn't be playing this bowl game. I agree. They should have canceled this bowl game 2 weeks ago.
Dave Benefit pushing for Fenway against this team.
I agree.
What does he mean? What do you mean by that, Chris? Oh, that they don't play in the bowl?
Yeah, I agree. Chris, they
like Notre Dame. Like Notre Dame.
Right, but they didn't have a
few teams that opted out. Aren't there? Or isn't there a few?
Yes, but they opted out right at the beginning. We accepted the bowl bid
because they knew that they would have a problem. Like Notre Dame probably thought they would have a problem with guys playing.
They did, but we accepted the bowl bid.
Right. Who else opted out? Is BYU doing their bowl game?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Is
the only ones that opted out were Iowa State and I think Kansas State or one of the other ones.
They lost their coach, Iowa State.
The teams that lost their coaches. We could not opt out because we accepted the bowl bid and there's TV rights that go with that. There wasn't enough time to find a replacement team if we opted out, if we left. I said 2 weeks ago we should not be playing in this game. I said it's going to be an embarrassment and it's going to hurt our brand. I said it was stupid for us to do it. And it was stupid for the fans to expect anything more. That's the reality of it. For the fans to expect a great performance, for the fans to expect top talent to play in this game, that is stupidity. So we don't play on a conference, don't have access to a playoff, and we play for nothing. Yes, we play for nothing. Until we get into a conference, we could have gone undefeated this year. Nothing would have mattered. You know why? Because nobody knows the game.
With these other teams getting in, we might have got in.
We wouldn't have gotten in.
You don't think so? I don't know.
Are you kidding me, Dave?
They let JMU and Tulane, who were going to get murdered.
Yeah, they won conference championships. Okay. We played one winning team, Duke. They're going to let us in after beating FAU, FIU, Buffalo, and Ball State. Yeah. Oh, we beat up on the MAC. Let's let the MAC champion in.
So we don't play.
The fans can't expect that Store Central. They're not going to report the news. They don't want people to know the news, Chris. They don't want people to know the
question
news.
Is, should Store Central I don't want you to be late for but should Store Central
Store Central is an extended arm of the university.
Okay.
They're not going to report anything negative. That's why when you have the website built, we can do what we want.
Yeah. I have it built. There's a snafu I'm running into that I'm running a couple of snafus with data, which I can't get to where I want to get to on it.
Chris Z, I talked to Mike Burton last night. Mike Burton and I strongly believe that we have a chance to get into the ACC by 2027.
Well, that would be
Notre Dame can opt out in 2030. Their buyout reduces. Notre Dame is going to opt out. The ACC right now is at 17 teams. So they're limited. They're playing a 9-game league schedule. So when you have 17 teams, a 9-game league schedule, it doesn't match. So what they're doing, some years, certain teams are going to play 9-game league schedules. Other teams are going to play 8. And teams that already have agreements with other schools are going to be let out of playing 9-game league schedules. We're going to have a good chance to get into the ACC next year. We play Syracuse. We play Maryland at home. We play, I think, BC. As long as we draw well, Mike believes we can go 7-5. Yeah, but Chris, for us to go into the Big 12, it's going to cost a shit ton of money for travel. You want to fly to Colorado State? I mean, it doesn't make sense. BYU, Texas Tech. It's too much money. The finances do not work out. The Big 12 doesn't have the broadcast revenue to sustain that model. It's better for basketball, but football rules the roost. Yeah, it is. It is better for basketball, but football rules the roost. Now, football will make more money in the Big 12, but is it going to offset the cost of the swim team having to play fucking Texas Tech, flying to Texas Tech? Is it going to offset the track team having to fly to Colorado? You know, the closest team is fucking West Virginia. It's 6 road games a year. It's 6 road games a year. But okay, I get what you're saying. You're saying because West Virginia, some of the teams aren't nearly as far, but realistically, doesn't the ACC make the most sense? Pitt, Syracuse, Virginia Tech, Miami, Louisville. It's the old Big East. Not 6 conference games a year. The ACC is moving to 9 conference games a year. The Big 12 is moving to 8. All right. ACC is not a sinking ship.
By the way, Hanson's in the Hula Bowl.
What about the Hula Bowl?
Hanson's in it.
Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah, the ACC is not a sinking ship. They're revamping everything. So, all right, I have to get going for Bloodlines and Betrayal. And yes, UConn is betraying us. UConn has betrayed us all the way. But UConn I'm not turning into Joe D. UConn fucked the fans. But the fans are stupid for believing that this was going to be some great showing of talent, that people were going to play in this game. What would make fans think that? Christy, you're not a moron. Why would you think that any of these starters would want to play in this bowl game. They could give two flying fucks. They have no loyalty to UConn. They don't bleed blue. They bleed green.
A lot of players, yeah, I would say that's a big deal for a lot of players.
They bleed green. They bleed green. They don't care.
Isn't that a big deal for a lot of players now, right?
Yeah. Yep. All right. So when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges. Fucking throw them right back at David Benedict, please. Shove him up his ass.